The name's Born. Just Born.
Multi-spy, boomstick, boomshot, 똑똑한 brain, KRBrickBot.
Today's mission. Gather intel and intelligence on Agent Born and his new disguise. It would seem he took a facelift to evade former associates. Okay, normal talk now. The facelift box still has the orange and red colors and also the grid work here. And the same stylized one vowel consonant word mark. Instead of Genesis Coupe, it's a facelift and a little bit of hexagonal background, what they could put in there. The design on the top of the box is pretty similar, the same stock photos except for the car and the same orange grid work background with some wavelengths. The side of the box is also pretty similar with a completely white background checkerboard here and a completely red, slightly different shades of red here. Yeah, one of the early days when they still advertised the app that no longer exists on the App Store. Genesis Coupe 122 scale and some car. Again, looks like the same stock photos and pretty similar background, unlike the other facelift. Well, it still has that new schematic background right here. And the exact same stock photos here, except maybe slightly photoshopped. Okay, now for unboxing. It's looking backwards there. So the weapons are stored on the front like this. A low cardboard girder there, and a taller girder right here. With the arms splayed out like that, and the windows perfectly splayed out 90. Oh, yep, those cardboard pieces are on a separate piece as well. Oh boy, it looks like Born's in a kind of a beat up shape here. Spy versus Spy, which, come to think of it, I think I've seen Born in some variation. Although for a spy character, his color scheme of green and orange is very loud, it's very bright. Something contradictory to stealthy colors. Unless he was going stealthy in a green screen, that color scheme's not gonna do much for him. So his car transformation design is one that has the hood in an entirely vertical chest. And as you can see, the major difference is no painted hood intakes. Well, it's not just unpainted, there's an entire dedicated section here that's cut in for the hood intakes, but it's just smoothed out now. This design was in the stock photos on that facelift box, and they didn't bother photoshopping this out. That's going to mildly confuse kids. So if you're not looking at the feet or sides, there aren't any other majorly noticeable changes. So regarding the design, I think it is a pretty clean look. I think it's kind of clever how the back window and the car front just tuck in there, kind of cleaning up the back. If you can see the head apart from his mostly black top, it is a pretty angled thing. Yeah, like 3 angles on the side and a painted V eyebrow over some multifaceted faceplates. Maybe it kind of looks elderly, not exactly, but there are like 2 sets of triangular extrusions from the faceplate there. And it's very articulate for a toy of this thing. Full swivels and a very good upward movement. And a little side to side. And that really complements the transparent light block that has really good light piping. Yeah, you can totally change its eye color if you get a different color lamp in there. The legs are looking slim and slender with little kibble on the back. All the kibble is just down on the feet. Yeah, which frankly kind of look like car slabs that kind of stick out next to the feet. But I guess that looks okay, but not ideal, but acceptable. There is still some detailing in here, like these wiring. He has orange painted kneecaps, spiky kneecaps. He could probably secret weapons, like secret daggers, just for close combat. And it's not at a perfect 90, but it is pretty close. And he's like one of the two only Hyundai Carbots that have both a Hyundai logo and a Carbot logo right on the leg. Yeah, so most of the Hyundai Carbots either had just the Hyundai logo or that replaced with the Carbot logo, but not both. But Born and the next one does. Yeah, it does have the standard ratcheted thighs and such, but for some reason, the ratchets on this one are kind of loose. I think the spring might have given way. On the other hand, the newer facelift reissue, those ratchets are pretty tight. The arms have some decently lengthy shoulder stack pylon things, kibble. Even with these things, he still gets a good outward movement this much. And full shoulders and a little backwards to transformation. Not a full 90 elbow bend, but close to there. Of course, no bicep swivel. And his arm doors are on sliders, which lock in when the doors are closed in. So sliding it back, you can reveal his fist. It looks awkward and like a slab if you leave it straight forward, but at a bend, it looks like a natural hand curve. And this hand is actually a separate piece, kind of implied by the screw hole and a little wiggling. If only they constructed this differently so this could be an actual wrist swivel. Which would have perfectly worked with his main weapons. A pair of swords, with pinned-in hilts formed from the card bits. And as you can see, there is a difference from the Hyundai version and the facelift version. So you can put the swords hilt inwards. And now he has sideways facing swords. Yeah, not vertical swords. So yeah, a wrist swivel really would have helped actually getting into some actual forward slashing poses. As of now, he can only most convincingly use it sideways. Sideways slashing. And why does a spy have swords? I thought spies usually used guns. It's as if these swords were designed with a different character name in mind. Now for transformation. So you can leave the weapons in his hands. So this is what I personally prefer to do without any parts forming. Just rotate them in his hands and then click them into the tabs in his shoulders. First slide in the door. Slide, turn, push in. So detach the rear window, turn it around, open the back window, fold out the chest. Yeah, then make sure this upper torso is lined up all the way here, like complete 90. So that the head tucks in like that. Then I suppose you could fold down the feet, click them together. And clip in the back windows. There aren't really any tabs except these two little tabs. And then yeah, just kind of slide the arms into there and then tab the tabs on the little weapons and just put them in there. The Hyundai Genesis Coupe 380 GT, which, as I'm aware, the Genesis brand is its own separate entity now. So yeah, I don't think they can really keep this model going. Well, they did reissue this Hyundai mold in 2017, and then just the Carbot logo in 2019, and now this vaguely Genesis Coupe-like thing. Obvious differences on the bonnet. This lip here, this middle lip, it now extends downwards, and this little lower grille part has been completely removed. It's, yeah, very just simple now. A simple little lipper there. And these unique curved fog lamps, they're just completely filled in now, just pretty generically filled in with silver. And of course, the big bonnet change. I guess that really makes a difference. This kind of looks slightly more normal than this luxury-like coupe. Coming to the side, maybe this car is built more for speed. As you can see, there are added vents and intakes, which, as mentioned before, are connected to the swords, so it might be a little unsightly. And if you remove it, yeah, it just leaves a big gap. There's a big gap in there, so you just basically have to keep the weapons on to make it look good, or else the kids that lost this thing will have this little strange, incomplete looking car. Yeah, now not sure why they decided to put some of the car onto the weapon instead of just leaving the kibble on the leg. And the doors are curved to match, like more curves and lines and recesses. And I'm sure the handlebar is slightly different, but it's subtle. Still has the gas cap. Some of the facelift Carbots have it and some of it don't. Not sure what's the consistency there. And the roof, it still has a little sunroof there, but the side edges have been raised significantly. Also, no rear antenna, so not sure how a spy Carbot could pick up signals more easily that way. Well, it looks like it still has that star-shaped wheel of the Hyundai Genesis Coupe, except it looks like, yeah, these pentagonal trapezoidal spokes have been reinforced and filled in a little more. The rear view mirrors look like they have been simplified a bit. It doesn't have a little extra ridge here on the Genesis Coupe. Still looks pretty neat with the silver painted inside there. The back is also looking more sportier with these added intakes or vents or side thrusters, whatever you would like to think as these, that just like little upgrades or just side additions. And if you look at the spoiler, there is an extra raised line here on the edges instead of the complete, mostly smooth curvature of the original coupe spoiler. And the tail lights, it looks like there is an added circle in there, unlike the completely smooth tail lights here. And the bottom here still has the Hellokabbot signature license plate, but it looks like the exhausts are bigger now. They're bigger and more upward. They fill in the entire space instead of just this little space. But it still does retain that really pretty unique and pretty cool gimmick of raising the trunk to reveal some orange Vulcan cannons, according to the box. Or you could imagine they're just extra turbo thrusters, or maybe oil slick launchers, or just little projectile launchers. Maybe it could just be multi-purpose for whatever spy missions, just for shooting bad guys on their tail. And it can also be activated in robot mode. So it looks like this is on a hinge, which this part is on a slider, like a slider in here and slider in here, which moves it straightly forward. Yeah, that is some clever engineering. So in robot mode, I assume you could just use these as extra skate boosters, which I don't think he's ever used these in the show. You know how most Transformer cars have mostly completely painted transparent parts that really clash with the plastic color parts? Well, Carbots with their large size have the advantage of mostly having separate pieces for the transparent windscreens and the solid plastic. It's just that the edges are painted, and it's pretty consistent here, but it's a little less consistent on the facelift version. I guess it's also less glossy, just the paint here is a little darker here. That kind of stands out. That also may not exactly want to clip in altogether. Oh yeah, and it does have functioning doors, thanks to the little arm sliders. Yeah, but I think the plastic here is weaker, or just the slider is weaker, therefore this thing is noticeably wobblier. I mean, the original Coupe-ae, I think it's pretty solid. It has pretty solid sliders here, but these feel just a little flimsier. Just so flimsy. I think some kid's going to just twist this right off. So flimsy. I think Born was one of the most underutilized Hyundai Carbots in the TV series, and I think he was completely dropped out of the name drop of the Season 2 theme song. But regardless of the show, this is still a pretty great design. A bright green car transformer that looks pretty awesome. Although the swords, swords for a spy. I guess this design doesn't exactly evoke a spy. So currently, the new facelift version is really not on eBay, so you have to go to some links or the Korean shopping sites if you want to get a hold of this. Or if you really want the Genesis Coupe looking one, just without the symbols here, there's always the Chinese version, which you may have to get on the want list and maybe just directly ask the guy on Sir Toys.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe. And also do a little more stuff. So until next time, this is KRBrickBot signing out.